Okay, finally my Graflex saber will be up for sale here on eBay. This is a Corbanth or Custom Saber Shop Kit 2.5. You'll see I've got in the Empire Strikes Back configuration. So we've got a red button on the front, red on the back. This is not a functional button. I did actually make this a functional button. So if you want to convert this to the Force Awakens style, you're able to do that. And you will get this set screw with it as well that you could replace the front button with this one and make it more of a TFA style. Also, I do have the bubble card if you want to use the bubble card instead. This is again Empire Strikes Back config, so we're using the circuit card with the mylar tape that was used to cover up the Graflex emblem. Bottom half of the hilt lined up with the clamp card like it should be, nice and snug. The D-ring at the moment is hanging in a Force Awakens configuration. However, if you would like to have that be in a perfect Empire Strikes Back config, we can do that. I'll have to put a Loctite on it, and then that will make it so the access to the internals is strictly through removing the bottom of the saber. Saber has a Prizm, Plector Prizm version 5.1. So we have up to 6 sound fonts installed. I actually have 4. I've installed 1 plus the 3 that come with it. The one I installed I bought from Mad Cow on Saber Font. It's called the Bespin II, which again, back to the Empire Strikes Back theme, really nice sound font, duplicates the sounds of that movie nicely. Internals, we also have a 3D printed chassis, Goth 3D Designs. And I did install crystal. Chassis is painted. The crystal will light with the blade, so there's actually 1 pixel. This is a neopixel saber, so we'll get to the blade in a moment. But the neopixel is a string LED, so it gives you really nice ignition retraction. Also, because it's a pixel down here in parallel with the blade, you're going to get the same color of the blade will be duplicated on the crystal, which is really nice. I have an auxiliary switch in the clamp card. That switch will give us our special effects, blaster deflections, force lockup, and then the main ignition switch is here, and then again the red button is a secondary ignition switch, so either one will work. Within the chassis, this is your kill key. You simply rotate it, turn the saber on, or if you're charging the saber, you can remove that and plug in the charger. The charger will come with the saber. The SD card, if you do choose to program it, is accessible right here. Always kill the power before you remove the SD card. And right now I'm running about 62, maybe about 62% power on the saber. And do that for battery savings, and at 62% it is still very bright. However, what you could do for different situations is have a card that is low power and then have a card for higher power, and just simply remove one card and replace it with the other. So every once in a while that card does slip out, but not common. Let's see. Okay, so if I show in the end of the saber, I have a Graflex style blade plug. This is your set screw to remove the plug. Usually you have to pinch the bunny ears. And then this is our connectors. I got these from the Custom Saber Shop. So you have the pins, and I'll work on that clamp card just a little bit to snug it up. You have pins internally that will connect here. It's a really nice connection system, so you do not have to orient the blade at all. Just press her in, and notice the pins are spring loaded. So you've got a little bit of tension here when you put the blade plug back in. There's actually 5 LEDs inside the blade plug, so it's not just a dumb plug. And now when I fire off the saber, you see the blade plug light. So go ahead and activate in this situation, or this stance. So now, here, let's do that. So here's your crystal chamber. So you'll see the clashes down in the crystal. You also see the blade plug matching our Empire Strikes Back blue. and then I drop the saber, or retract the saber. So just so you see a difference, switch through the sound fonts. The next one is also a blue, so I'll go to the next sound font. This is Gray Meat. Nice sound font. Comes with the Plector card. And you see this is a red, and it has a little bit of a pink hue to it because I made this like the Empire Strikes Back red from Darth Vader. His saber. Retract that. I'll go ahead and put the bottom half of the saber back on the hilt. Rotate it, and when it gets snug, go just a little bit more until these line up and you're in good shape. I do one full rotation to loosen and one full to tighten on the clamp, and then that's set. For the blade itself, this is about a 35-inch blade. Again, string LEDs. There is a capacitor in the blade to help boost the startup because that is a pretty good amount of current. And then it's actually two strips, 258 LEDs in this strip. They are inside of a foam strip, and then in the foam is inside of a diffusion tube, so that you get a really nice even blade. On the end, I actually have brought around with soldered in 3 leads and then an additional pixel to angle back up to the tip, so the tip looks illuminated. And then there's a little material covering up that pixel as well, so you can't just stare right at the light. Pretty simple to drop this guy in. And I snug it up a little bit. I would say it's made for moderate to light dueling. I wouldn't expect a 7/8 inch blade to go too heavy. And there you can see the beautiful ignition. This is your Vader font, so there's your blaster deflections. That font that I would probably start with is Mad Cow's Bespin font. Really does a good job of duplicating the Empire Strikes Back. Nice ignition. This has a nice light blue, just a tiny bit of green mixed in to match what we did in Empire Strikes Back. The clashes are really amazing. Swings. Force lockup. Blaster deflection. It's randomized throughout the blade. You get a white deflection, clash, there's a white, lockup, there's light, a white. And then again, this is just another ignition retraction button, so you can use that. So I showed the red. This is a light meat font. Just a little darker blue. Now I've pre-configured 4 fonts. However, the board itself will support 16 different color combos, which are configurable, of course. So you can cycle through those live. Now this one, it may be hard to tell on camera, but this is sort of a fire orange. If I want to cycle through, this is a shade of green, a little bit of a light green. This is a straight true green. Go to a cyan, a little bit of light blue, and then this one I configured kind of special. This is a white blade, so I put in a blue clash for this one. However, the blaster bolt deflections are defined within the sound font, so if I want the blaster bolt deflections to be blue, I'd have to define those as blue in that sound font so that I had a purely white blade option. There's a royal blue. So for me with the Graflex, I think the Empire Strikes Back blue the royal blue, maybe more of a Force Awakens, as well as maybe a Vader red, but also a yellow is a nice option because there were some early figures, certainly the Luke figure that had the yellow, and the Obi-Wan figure, the back had a yellow saber shown. So that's one if you wanted to do, the yellow would work. And then, so here's yellow. There's additionally a force effect. It's a little tricky to nail on the configuration just right. But the idea is that you hold the aux button and generate a swing, and then you can make a force motion, and that works okay. It's just can be a little difficult to demonstrate. Okay. There we go. So nice little push effect. This is running again about 62% power. That's designed so that the battery life will be longer. This is a 3500 milliamp 18650 battery, capable of 15 amp discharge, so we're not really having any issues with that. Really strong power source, but again, I run the lower power, and even at this lower power, it's brighter than any of my Tri-Cree sabers, and it's also bright, of course, consistently to the end. But I would probably have multiple cards on hand, maybe a low power and a high power version of these cards. Other than that, it's a Graflex. If there's something specific you would want, like another sound font, certainly let me know, and I can buy that and install it. The D-ring, if you want to line that up perfectly, so that it's hanging in this direction. Of course, I'd have it threaded in further. We can do that as well. And then the clamp card, if it was hanging on your hip, would be facing out. The way it is now, it's hanging in this direction, which still works pretty well. It's hanging on your hip, it's facing forward. That configuration does match Force Awakens. So there's access to your recharge port, so you can feel it when you use your fingers, and now that deactivated the saber. So if I did want to change to the Force Awakens style, I would simply replace this, pull it out with Force Awakens set screw. And that is my Graflex. So if you have any questions, comments, feel free. Really just build this out of a hobby. It's not any type of full-time work, but found it to be pretty fun work to work on Star Wars sabers. So thanks for watching.